Alright, see how this goes. Hopefully we have a win. The headset feels a bit wonky, but over time it should customize to my headspace. Literally. Optimize, Byron, Kevin, Paul, Barry, Crazy, Kyle, yep, everybody. Let's see. People messaging me with strange requests. What's this? Trash, trash, trash. So much trash. Yes, the new headset. Funnily enough, on this it says PXD1. Honestly, I don't think these people know that you're supposed to keep letters in sequence according to the original product. But there's the PXD1, there's the XPD2, there's the XDP2. There's so many, I don't know. They just seem to have multiple variants of the same product. It's got me beat. All I know is that it's a replacement for my previous one. The plastic seems a little less durable from the previous one. It's got a slightly more brittle feel. But other than that, the transmitter side is the same. It's the receiver side that's slightly different. This particular one has a 3.5mm audio output, whereas the previous one did not. The previous one was strictly USB audio only. This one lets you put the decoded audio or the converted audio out to a headset, like if maybe you wanted to hear yourself speak. But it's not a problem in this case because I just use my own ears. Let's do it. Welcome. Ainsley, Mr. Smitten. Yeah, so nothing much really that I can do to you tonight other than the... What the heck? Oh jeez, cat fight. Be right back.
mechanical.
It's okay.
I'll let you get back to you.
That's fine. So it was just a weird
Yeah,
fight that was out here, so. Alright, we're back. That was just, it was a bit too much of a strange catfight noise, and I wanted to make sure that one of the wildlings, as we call them, hadn't gotten over next door and been picked up by their dog or something like that. So as you can imagine, that would be very undesirable. So, I mean, normally we obviously contain our own cats in our enclosures, but we can't control the wildlings at this point. We are working towards that, but we've got to get the house first. Anyway, right, sorry about the drama. Better to be safe than sorry, though, in this particular case. Pardon me. So I've got a couple of 3215's here I might need to reball because I still haven't got my chicken wings from overseas yet. Typical. Oh, no camera on that. Come on, camera. You can do it. You can do it, camera. There you go. Yep, you're alive. Tad warm in here. Doesn't help that I'm all on edge now. Okay, so we've got a pair of 3215's. Get them cleaned up and reballed and try them. I don't think we're up with the stencils. We're doing good tonight. I'm a little out of it. I've been existing on about an hour and a half of sleep. It's not good. It's not intentional. It's the way it happens. Oh, seriously? Where's my black stencil? What? Oh. Oh, you all know that, I have a black stencil that I use for reballing the 3215's. Oh, I found it. Seems like my past self has been very bad and didn't put that into the alcohol bath. That's very naughty. Very naughty indeed. Yeah, so I've got the new headset. The other one hadn't actually failed, but it was a case of I was starting to see fatigue, just cracks in the handle, the cable, things like that. And I really don't want to be without a headset if one of them fails. Kind of like I really need to get a backup soldering station and a backup hot air station, all that sort of stuff. You get to the point where you do need to have backups of this stuff. Okay, they're kind of fused together. Steve, you haven't missed anything yet. Joys of Monday. Anyway, the solicitors and banks are putting every effort possible into making sure they can go nice and slow with the home loan. Seriously, I mean, it takes them a day to get one person to sign the document and send it to the other solicitors, and they're like 100 meters apart. It's truly absurd at how slow the process is. It's the sort of thing that should be over, at least all the document signing, at least over in 2 days, but no. So let's drag this out, make it go for a week. A week before we even get started. Oh, look at that. Christmas is coming up. Well, we better take a break. 2 weeks sounds good. Let's come back in January mid, shall we? Yes. Like I said, it's a joke. Now I understand that, you know, some of these places obviously do have a moderate amount of workload, so fair enough. But yeah, it's just how long they're taking to do these simple things does not give me a lot of confidence. And I don't think it's the particular solicitors at all. I think it's just a industry type thing. It's driving me absolutely insane because I would have liked to have had everything settled or final settlement before Christmas. I don't see that happening at this rate. Sounds like the US Congress schedule. Yeah, pretty similar. Any political sort of scenario. Like I said, it's not. Yeah, the seller. We're all eager to go and get things moving to the next stages and all that. But unfortunately, the legal and the banking side just has its own schedule. I mean, I get it, there are some things they have to check, and that's fine. But when there's nothing to really check and it's just a bit of document shuffling, that's when you start to go, oi, what's going on here? Why is everyone in the go slow mood? Oh yeah, COVID's, yeah. Particularly up here, where we basically have only had, I think, about one case that was already in quarantine, and yeah, that's it. So, COVID is not a valid excuse for local work, unless of course you're trying to wait for some products to turn up, you know, shipping and stuff like that. In which case, then you can say, oh well, the suppliers are delaying us because of their COVID scenario. That would be valid, but not for this. AJ, wish I could work for the bank. Friend of mine's literal whole family works at Commonwealth Bank. 200,000 a year salaries, monthly holidays. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you get a good position in banking, then you would be smart to put every effort you can into ensuring that there's legislation and everything else put aside to make sure that your rights as a banker are never eroded. And well, they've got the power to do that. They hold the money, so yep. People think government's the power play, but really it's pretty much the banks. The banks run out of money or do something dumb. Oops. Well, make the government bail us out. Why not? Headset is breaking up. I don't think so. There must be something else. It could be interference. It could be your own connection. Just had to clear off. You're not at your end, or we'll see if anyone else reports it. Well, I've got it set up so I can look at the signal indicator light, and if it flickers, then I'll know we're getting issues. At the moment, it's staying pretty steady. There was a cutout about 20 seconds ago, which was because of me switching the cable. Yeah, that was an intentional cutout. That was a cable switch. Need some advice. I have a Lenovo Ideas Center 310. Memory is full, so I ordered an 8 gig memory card. I installed the slot next to the original 4. I don't know. Depends. I guess really in this case you're just going to have to plug it in and try. Sometimes you just got to do that. Some boards are fine if the memory speeds are mismatched. Some aren't. Like I said, it's really a case of plug it in and try it. Yeah, Teresa, the silence was me switching the cable over. Damn it. Hey, Early. Yeah, that burns the old fingertips, that does. Steve, we're just patching up a couple of 3215's that I found when I was cleaning up other stuff. I want to see if they're okay. I've got a couple of boards that need some 3215's, and my supply of 3215's is bad at the best. That ball looks a little bigger than the rest. You're definitely a big ball. How did you happen? Mongrel. Alright. Let's try a bit of risky luck here. We're going to take this ball away. Actually, maybe that's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be reasonably close. You know, you certainly don't want it obviously sticking up high like that one was. It's actually still slightly proud. Yep. I guess it's proud of being a big... Yeah. I don't want to be demonetized. I'm going to shut up right now. I think it will be okay. Tired of fighting my monetization on this channel. That looks clean enough to me to, yep, put a stencil straight on. Hey, Uncode, I'm going to try to see if I can get some existing boards back up and running. We've got a few that may be CD3215 issues, may not, I just don't know. It's the sort of jobs where you're kind of replacing parts simply because you don't know what else to do. Rebibbling. Hey, Andrew. Damn specks of flux getting in the way. Hey, John Finn. At least it's easy doing 3215's. It's not like they're SMCs or anything. Hey, Warren. Stencil popped off with some excitement. I should collect these spheres and stockpile them into something. So whenever I need to do another CD3215, at some point I'll just be able to shake out a bunch of these free pre-made spheres. Well, I've collected a few here. Okay, we're good. Oh, AJ, come on, it's not that bad. SMCs are okay. Like I said, I can do them with paste, but these days I certainly do prefer it with just using pre-made. Kept sticking to the stencil. What size were you using, or were you using paste? Here the sound is less muffly than normal. John, as in... Okay, let me put it in a more simple way. It sounds better now or worse? Hey, Luke. APL. $10mm? You're using 10... What? That's some very big spheres if you're using 10mm. More sibilance. Oh, come on. The words I don't understand. Better or worse? Much better. Oh, right, much better. Got it. I didn't see that first statement you had there. Sibilance. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. Alright, now I'm gonna see if I can find a board that needs some TLC. Crikey, now I've got two machines that I can't understand. Oh right, you're a RAM failure. You just need to go back to return to sender, unfortunately. What about you? No, we'll try this original one. This one's been sitting in the workshop way too long. Had a few attempts at fixing it. More trebly, okay, thank you. I gotta admit, with the previous one, I was never really... Hey Cam. I was never entirely happy with the sound reproduction. I always felt it was sounded a bit more like I was talking through a sock or listening through a sock, and so hence I took the foam wind suppressor off. But it helped a little bit, but it didn't help that much. So I'm thinking that the actual electric microphone, the microphone that they use in this one, is a better quality one, or at least more sensitive to my personal voice. So I'm happy either way. Oh, why the hell does this look really clean? What? You kidding me? I picked... What? How did I do that? I picked up the blown up one rather than the one I wanted to pick up. And yep. Good on your brain. Bravo, brain. Wrong one. Okay. Hey, Carl Green. Hundit. Likes cars. Hey, Greg. Alright, this is the one that's been giving us absolute hell. We've tried a lot of different things with this, but it just... that's right. We're worried about the ROM flash being wrong, stuff like that. Ah, oh, crap, that's right. It's all coming back to me in a terrible nightmare. Some people just can't help having a socky voice, you know, some people. I admit I feel like I am one of those sounds like a muffled sock person. What? You're giving me 20 volts now? But only 50, 60 milliamp. I swear you weren't giving me 20 volts before though, you mongrel. Warren, we've got the pre-approval. Now we've got the rest of the process to go through. Carl Green, yes, I do have an ultrasonic. Okay, 60 milliamps is not a good sign on this. Interesting that it is working now though. I could have sworn when I left this the last time it was stuck at 5 volts. You've been using 1mm. With the SMC you shouldn't be using anything, well, I don't use anything bigger than 0.35. So, yeah, I don't know. What are you doing using 1mm? That's huge. That's Trump huge. Hey Travis. Yeah, 1707. So it concerns me the fact that I am all of a sudden getting 20 volts where I know that I was getting 5 before. So we're just gonna like randomly heat up something. Replaced your first 1502 screen. At least they're not too bad. Getting them off the hinge, the cups, the hinge cusps, that can be probably the more interesting part. If you don't want to break it, that is. Yeah, you really shouldn't, for SMC, you really shouldn't be using more than 0.35. The stencils should actually say 0.3mm, and then you use 0.35. And the 0.35 just stops them jamming 2 into the 1. Hey Keith. It's pulling 60 milliamp, so it could be in DFU mode. Could be. But like I said, it's annoying to me because of the fact it wasn't doing this before. Hey, yummy. There is a momentary surge where it goes up to around about 100 and something, but then it quickly comes down. I'll tell you what, I am waiting for the exchange rates to drop because right now I am being... There, we see about 150 milliamp jump and then it quickly comes back down to 60. So we might have a short somewhere else on the board, but I have a feeling we're not going to find that. Cam, it's not a permanent 100 milliamps. It's just flicks up for a second and then drops. I'll put the cam on it, see if anything lights up like Christmas. But I have a feeling nothing will. Losing audio. I'm not seeing it flicker. When you say losing audio, what do you mean? Oh, what sort of losing? Does everything go? Distortion? Comes and goes. What about injecting some voltage? Yeah, pass on that. I'll do a rail test before I do that. So I'm just trying to think what I can do about... I might put it on a cable, hang it over the back in case the signal strength is too strong. And back on. You're going to lose it momentarily, and then it'll come back, okay? So don't start crying or anything. Alright, we should be back now. Yep. Almost like it's clipping. Compared to the normal audio that you would get on YouTube, are we currently, would you say the output on this is currently higher than normal or lower than normal? I'd be surprised if it's, I can wind back the gain a bit, it might be that. Might be the gain's up too high. Average? Okay, average is what I want. Lower slightly? Okay. What I'll do is I'll knock the gain back. Okay, so the gain on that is now lower, so the volume is going to be lower. But I'll compensate in OBS with a slightly higher audio gain. Alright, see how that is. And now. Yeah, I'm sorry, now is... Hey, Jose Arasola. And it's Mala81. Audio is good. Okay, I'm yelling loud enough to get to the UK, so that's all good. There, see how it is. Let me know if it gives any more grief. I do know that with this particular headset, this design, it can have problems with the internal gain being too much on the transmitter side. It's like for whatever reason, the actual signal strength or the audio signal output that they generate from the USB stick seems to be generally quite low. Stuttering since you've changed. Seriously? One of his bad batteries. I saw it flickering there for a second. Cracky. Now, I don't know what you mean by turbo. Question is it transmitter or is it receiver? Yeah, it is possible I'm too close to the receiver and we're getting a attenuation, well, automatic gain control can't control it. The downside is that I don't really have a lot of ways of sorting that out. I'm just looking up to see if I've got a extension lead up here. So we've got one. Let's see how we go for the moment. No, the mic's definitely plugged in properly. That much I do know. Whatever I did made it better. Could have been a USB fault. It was either batteries or a USB fault. Tough call. Just turn off that. That way at least I can turn it on and then get my hands out of the way. Oh, scratchy, itchy nose. Itchy and scratchy show. And see if anything pops. The bench is faulty. It is interesting. Oh no, it's just. It's okay, ignore me. Really nothing is jumping up. I'm amazed that that is actually still warmer than everything else. We barely even warmed up that area. Hey Dave, Alex, Yeah, the bench is faulty for sure. I'm deliberately putting my hand there. It sort of stabilizes things. God, I'm really not seeing anything here. And it's a sensitive camera. I mean, the fact that it picks up the heat from my fingers on the bench for quite a while afterwards. Yeah, we're gonna have to go through the rails, unfortunately. Rails are no fun at all. Barry, that's what I'm doing. You're probably not sure if you can hear it, but I'm flicking the switch so that it powers it up and then down. Trying to see if I can catch that transient in action. Let's see. What board have I got here? 928. See, let me guess. I don't have it. Nah. See, now the problem we've got is that we do have 20 volts, so we can't. This section here is not much use to us anymore because we've got our 20. Bugger. By the way, I am working on getting the integrated open board data in a bit more. So I've sort of updated this whole system here. Yeah, you right click, yeah, and then you have what you can search, like U9330 or whatever, and it brings it up here. And also the network, but then there's also the open board data. In this case, we don't have any data available. Like if you bring up a 165, that will have data available, like a backlight. So yeah, you got your open board data there. And what I'm working on at the moment is setting up a server with a few other things, writing all the server-side software. So what you'll be able to do is you can either correct that value and submit your personal correction, or you can, like if there's, let's see, nothing showing up there. Look at this one. Say if you've got a part that doesn't actually have any current open board data on it, you can submit your values and then update, and it will update the central database. And I'm going to do it in a way so that it's obviously a weighted database. The only trick will be that in order to prevent or slightly reduce the occurrence of spamming, there is going to be a, let's see, if you go to program preferences, open board data, when you submit data, you're going to need an ID. You don't have to give any personal information or anything like that, but what's this? Yeah, wget doesn't exist yet. Anyway, it will get an ID, and then that way when you submit stuff, it's got its unique ID. It doesn't identify you personally, but it at least lets me have the opportunity, if someone goes rogue, I can then just clear all their submissions out. So it's a work in progress, but I'm sort of like changing the whole layout, making it a little bit cleaner, and I'm hoping that once this is done, then more people can do the contributions, because a lot of the time you might say have one particular network or part that you're working on, you do those figures, and it's easier if you can just simply plug them in quickly and send them out, rather than having to go through the rigmarole of downloading everything, doing a git diff or a git pull request, things like that. So it's getting easier to the point where it should just be something that anyone and everyone can do. Alright, that doesn't solve this board though, and I don't have a network sequence for this one. Once I've done with the OB data, then I can work on how people can contribute, these sort of solutions. One task at a time, my people, one task at a time. Okay, we don't have any favorites, so we need to find our power rails. So I'm just going to add this one. Some bus onto C1. Because I often like to refer back to that page. Crikey, how many pages this thing got? Should just go to the end. It's always at the end. Hey, what was that one? Here we go. Power aliases. So create power 1. And this is power 2. This just makes it easy, so you don't have to remember every damn time, where your pages are. You just use the PDF favorites on Flexboard View, and away you go. Alright, so in this case, we're just going to have to plug through G3 hot. Well, let's not make too many assumptions. Let's just try them. What the hell happened then? We don't need diode mode on that. Oh yeah, and I fixed up my multimeter software, so now it actually says OL rather than 0. I guess that was a real pain before, where it would show up on your screen as 0 when it actually was meant to be OL. Let's see, what do we want? All in? We'll play all in. So PP bus G3 hot. We've got CPU side up here. Well, that's a terrible spot for it. We'll try the fuses, that might be a good spot. It's as good as doing a barrel roll. Especially if I get the board the right way up. Alright, so we must have some sort of capacitive charge, some charge already in the board, because it's giving stupid values right now. and what's happening is that residual or latent charge is being used up by the multimeter or pumped by the multimeter. Anyway, 0.35, that's perfectly reasonable. In fact, that's kind of low, kind of high to be honest. Anyway, 0.35. Hey ITC. Two big chunky caps up top. Three, four. HS GPU. Ah, you mongrel, I can't measure it from... Oh wait, maybe? No, can't measure it there. Can measure it there though. Three, four. Hey, Triple X, we're trying to fix this board. Find out what's wrong with it. Unfortunately, we are at the boring phase where we basically have to go through and check the power rails and see what's dodgy. See if anything comes up dodgy, rather. 3, 4, reasonable. Oh, we're just there. That's interesting, that one's actually showing kind of open. That's better. Anything sort of between 0.2 and 0.6 is generally okay. Hey Pernov. Andrew. Pernov, did you get the latest set of code I put up for the multimeter, the BK390? After you told me about that font fix. I haven't done anything since. I will try and make it so it handles when the meter turns off or runs out. I will try and handle that a little more gracefully. But for now, I was just happy to actually get it running. Trying to find a nicer place to get this. So pin 2 on that one. You may notice I'm clicking on this section of the rails because I usually find, I shouldn't say usually, a lot of the time these ones don't seem to search properly, but these ones will. Okay, so you just removed it. I'll put it right at the end, just before I close the TTF part. By the way, people looking at this, that's just a bit of flux on there. It's not a faulty part. I wish it was, but it's not. I really hate it, Pernov, when you got to code this stuff blind, from afar. So it was very handy to have you with yours. Really, it is the point. I think I would do a lot more multimeters if people would just simply, people say, look, I want you to do this multimeter software for me, and just send it to me, or send it to you, and get you to make your forked of it or whatever. Yeah, just send it. Consider it the contribution, as it were, to help everybody. Okay, I'm getting a little bit blind here. Yeah, we'll just do it off this big coil. Okay, well that's dead set short according to that, but that I wouldn't trust it. It's CPU, so if we change over to resistance, you'll find it behaves. So 500 ohms, high speed, you'll find it be like a few ohms. 2.36 ohms, and this is why on the open board data why I have both diode and resistance mode data. So like on this, the diode would be 0 effectively, but the resistance would be 200 or whatever it was, 2.3. Because below, I think around about, it depends on the meter, but I think below around about 20 ohms, the diode modes generally go looking like they're 0, like it's a short, but they're not. Maybe that was the intention of Lewis originally. What? Was just too lazy to write some code for it, so I thought, oh no, that's fine. It's I already had the template, and I forgot that I had copied that code from the B-side ADM meter, which is why it had it was looking for the OX55 byte as the terminator, which was incorrect. It drives me mad because but definitely for me, the fact that you have to have the parity enable and then also the parity odd flag bits set both together to get parity odd, that is what wasted 2 hours of my time. If I had not made that assumption incorrectly, then it would have been much quicker. Okay, not much point really checking these. Let's see. This one's probably going to be much the same. Where are you? You're the big chunky chunk up here. It's the sort of thing I think I should... Okay, 42 ohms, that's pretty good. It's the sort of thing that really should be amended into the man pages to sort of like make a explicit note that in order to have this flag take effect, you really need to also include the other. Okay, these are all RAM rails. Sounds like a truck engine. No, we'll go back to diode mode. Okay. 480.404, that's actually pretty low. I'm not sure what the RAM rail should be. I curse myself for not having a working version of this board. So 110 ohms. So this is 1V2S3. See, I don't know whether that's good or bad. It's low, but I don't know if it's good or bad. The fact that it is for these RAM chips makes me think it might be okay. Mind you, it's 1V2S3. Unfortunately, they don't have a current rating on that. So I can't be sure. Yeah, I can't be sure if it's meant to be or not. So we'll just make note that the 1V2 is a little low, but it could be expected. God damn it, everything's on the other side. What a nuisance. Now, pound of what we've got at the moment is we do have our 20 volts, so we've only got about 60 milliamp. So it could be a DFU. We do get a momentary surge of something over 100 milliamp. I'm not sure whether that's happening while it's at 5 volts and doing the transition to 20, or whether it's actually once it gets into 20. So I'm just blindly going through the rails at the moment, seeing if anything stands out as a bit odd. I'm going to imagine these DDRs are... Oh yeah, thanks, your mistake. Thanks for reminding me. I see 60, 70 milliamp and I just think DFU. Where I can get the board info for an Intel NUC. No, good luck with that. It'd be nice if you could. It'd be nice if we had more and more people, putting out stuff. I have had some people email me and ask what's the best way that they can help with producing board repair friendly data. I gotta admit, I'm really actually not liking this meter nowadays. I'm almost liking my Vicky more. The trouble is I've given away the Vicky. But yeah, I'm genuinely not liking this meter for this sort of work. It's too slow. Like, continuity check is too slow. The firmware seems iffy. Yeah, maybe a $300 bust. Sometimes it happens. Yes, I really hope that's not the case, but like I said, if it is, well, just means I'm going to have to cough up more money and get another meter. Not that you want to do that too often. There's a few cases where analogs are useful, particularly if you're testing caps. You can use the rate at which the needle moves as a pretty handy indicator. But overall, nah, I'm fine with the digitals. I mean, I've got some perfectly good digital ones. Prianish, it's all good. I just have to buy another one. I'll just pick a different model. I was hoping this one would be nice because it's got 4-wire resistance and it's got SCPI. It on paper looks like it should be good, but in reality, it's kind of letting me down a bit. And the 10% offset thing that I've noticed that occasionally happens, that is really actually is a particularly annoying problem. Because you spend a little bit too long walking around with the wrong value. 1VO sus. Okay, 1VO sus at 0.01 actually does seem a little low. Did you receive your money? I don't know, which money? Are you talking about home loan? Or are you talking about someone sent me something? Yeah, Catherine, it is, well, it's not really inexpensive. So far as bench meters go, it's pretty cheap. It's under 300 Australian dollars. One VO sus. Pionov, I mean, no, I'm doing diode mode measurements there. Priyanish, how did you send that? Was that through PayPal or something else? Because I haven't got an email yet or anything. Let me know. I'm just checking my Gmail now. Because I don't see... Ah, now go. Hang on there, folks. Stand by. I've got messages from old cable manufacturers that are wondering if I'm still around from model aircraft days. Haha, no. Priyanish, how are you sending that? Genuine question. Kind of curious because, like I said, nothing's showing up here. You might want to... Let's see... 986... You might want to hold off doing anything further. Yeah, what account what email address are you sending it to? It might be nice. Can you send me an email? Let's see. Because definitely nothing's coming up. And my PayPal is set up to be instant. I'll get 2 messages per transfer on this phone. I'll get 2 per message transfer on email as well. So basically I'm alerted no matter what I'm doing and where I am. Hey Hatra. Alright, let's go back to the rails while I wait for that email to come through. Okay, let's see, 1VS sus, okay, 1VS 3, what are we looking at? We're on the underside. The only trouble with these big boards is that it can get a little bit tricky trying to track down everything. This is where the smaller boards are quite nice. So anyone out there bought themselves a M1 Air yet? Genuinely curious. I wouldn't mind getting one. 1.5, okay, that's pretty reasonable. Not AJ. Oh, blimey, everything's... I hate it when everything is around the CPU. So we make it easier for you. Just jam everything around the CPU and there's only 50 billion components there. So I mean, look how slow this is up point. Yeah, just slow, tick, 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 and then it just does weird stuff like this. Except... yeah, I think I might email Farnell Element 14. See if they can't, I don't know, give me store. I'm not a big fan of being this sort of person where you buy something and it doesn't pan out. But to be fair, there was no real way of me knowing how this would go other than by what was on paper, because it wasn't as then a released product, so there was no one had any reviews on it. But I've already seen a couple of people who tried to put up reviews only to have them actually removed, which was interesting. And I tried to put up something and ask if other people were having issues, and that was removed by Element 14.3. So I'm starting to wonder whether they realise they've got themselves a bit of a less than perfect product, and now they're trying to squelch any complaints until they can sort out the issue. I strongly believe it's probably firmware related. Okay, GPU. Yeah, John, it's going to be nice to have the space. Definitely going to be very nice to have the space. Although initially I'm not going to have too much more than what I have now. I will get at least one extra room so that I can cram some stuff in there. I have to decide whether I want to make a dedicated shed building, something about 10 by 4 meters or something like that, and move all of my activities out there, or whether to still work within the house itself. Okay, looks like we've got test pads up there. That. 7. Still transmitting? Yep. Yep, seems like everyone's gone quiet. Everyone's fallen asleep. Can't blame 4. Weird, I think YouTube just gave up then. Sorry about that. Just have to give me a moment and I can catch up on everyone. Just wanting when to null and void the warranty. Of course I do. Yeah, that's how you learn these things. Oh, Warren, yeah, you've got yours. I remember you mentioned that you were getting one. Hey, any 555? Let's see. Outside shed. No, the YouTube chat had stopped. It stopped quite a few minutes ago. Anyway, yeah, the shed on the outside was the plan. Like I said, about 10 by 4 meters is the idea. And, I figured that's a reasonable amount of room to work in. It would have to be insulated, of course. Unless you want to die in summer. And it has to be cyclone proof. Unless you want to die in summer. Okay, I'm just being a bit naughty here. And 3-1. Yeah, you cannot compromise on cyclone proofing your stuff around this place. I mean, we are inland by roughly 100 kilometers, like actual perpendicular from the coast. Wait, did I just measure that one? Damn it. Yeah, I did. Yep. Okay, we're up in the area where there was some damage. We're also up in the area where the board does not agree with the board view. I think. Yep. See how the orientation of this section here is they rotated it. Crap heads. The leads I'm using are Hirschman or whatever it is. Yeah, Hirschman. And so like they're just detachable. And they are rather needle-like when you first buy them. They obviously get worn down. But the nice thing is, you can just... it's a combo kit that they sell. I think it's about 40 Australian dollars. I should put that down. It is a very useful kit to have. The alligator clips in particular I do like, because they're flat ones. They're the ones I use for the power supply. So that's that. So if you look at see, it's a flat nose. So it's a bit more like a gator rather than a crocodile. But it gives it there's a good flat bite area there for grabbing onto wires. Ah, Travis, that's no good. Okay, where was I? What was that? S4BT. Yeah, it looks like there's a probe mark there already. I'm getting the feeling we're going to get to the end of this and nothing is going to be found. It's got that sinking feeling. No, John, thanks for helping with the audio dramas by complaining. Everybody complaining. Did the job though, didn't it? No, we're done. We're done. Something else is at play here. And I'm too incompetent to be able to fix it. Wow, what a waste of a night. That's impressive, Paul. My success rate with these type boards is far lower than I would like. It's probably around about the 50% mark, which is significantly woeful, to say the best. And of course it does leave me with concern the fact that we are getting 20 volts when we weren't getting it before. And the only thing that I've done is let the board rest, which means it's not actually fixed for that fault either. Something's lying. To be fair, it could be something like the flux, and it just needs a, what do you call it, a ultrasonic clean. Yeah, it might be causing a high impedance pin to pick up some noise. How many times have I tried to fix this? Too many times. Too many times. I may just have to call it quits. I'll ultrasonic it, see how it goes, call it quits. I did manage to rescue one of their machines. This is the second one. And I'm just not having much chop with it. I might talk to Tim, see if he has any ideas. Sometimes it helps if you can talk to your fellow techs. Yeah, and you pretend that you're up in their league. Yeah, fake it till you make it kind of thing. Well, I'm just going to have to keep faking it. And yeah, they might drop you a hint that lets you find the fault. Could be internal. Yeah, it could be. Where does the power sequence stop? I haven't checked power off. I haven't checked. I think what I need to do first is go and create the power sequence for the open board data, and then that way I can just step through it rather than trying to, memorize it over here. On the upside, we do have a couple of CD3215's that are now washed, well, need to be washed. Is my ultrasonic up and running? Ah, damn it. I'll have to do them tomorrow when I heat up the ultrasonic tank. We'll just put them into this here and then throw them in the tank, and a minute or two should do the trick. What I will do now though is just heat them up and dab them, get that excess flux off. Now, Poundov, I'm going to actually, because what is it? Oh, it's already past midnight. I'm going to just go and create a sequence list, because then at least the next time this comes up, it's easier for me. We don't all have spectacular brains like yours, Poundov. Some of us require a little bit of hand-holding from their own software. Do I have a list of everything I've replaced on this one? Probably not. I do know that all 4 of the CD3215's have been replaced on this. And there was a few little discrete parts I've kind of lost track with it. That's the trouble when you get into these sort of rabbit hole jobs, is that you start replacing things and you forget to mark it down. And then the worst thing is, because it happens over multiple days or multiple events, you don't necessarily sequence the jobs together on the video, and so you lose track of what you're doing. You start doubling up on things. Yeah, so I think I'll have a quick chat to Tim. I'll set up the open board data sequence for it, and then I will ultrasonic it and see what we come up with. Lewis Rossman can remember that. Come on now. Lewis is also like, well, yeah, Lewis is also a bit of a Pernoff type. You know, he'll remember crazy sequences of things that no reasonable person can be expected to remember. 100 years ago, they would have been chess masters, you know, but they got something else other than chess to play now. Brain needs plugged into the charger. That it does. Sleep, absolutely. It's not a good idea lasting on 1.5 hours of sleep. Yeah. Looking forward to a nick change to Dr. Pernoff. Yeah, that's true, Pernoff. When do you become Dr. Pernoff? Yeah. Have to celebrate that when it happens. Alright. That's it. I am out of here. So, sorry it wasn't all that exciting. Hey, you got some hot air work, you got some CD3215 reballing. I know it's nothing interesting. I am hoping at least tomorrow maybe we'll get something that I can handle more, which is like, you know, the 1466, 1502, 1398, 1278, that kind of era, you know, the old school stuff where my brain can still keep up. But until then, looks like I'm just going to have to go back to making buggy software. And I will catch you all tomorrow, and thank you for helping me with the microphone. Seems like we've got that sorted out. Might have just been a bad battery, so appreciate that. I'll see you all next time. Take care.